The first thing I noticed was the beeping. Steady, rhythmic, like a metronome counting down the seconds of my life. Then came the voices, distant at first, floating somewhere above me like radio signals caught between stations. "Poor thing," someone whispered. "Everyone thought she was dead. My name is Willow, and I wasn't supposed to wake up." The fluorescent lights burned my eyes when I finally managed to crack them open. Everything was blurry, dreamlike. A figure in scrubs adjusted something next to my bed. My throat felt like sandpaper, and when I tried to speak, only a rasp came out. "Oh my God!" The nurse jumped, nearly dropping her clipboard. You're awake!" She rushed to my side, checking monitors, pressing buttons. "Can you hear me? Squeeze my hand if you can hear me." I managed a weak squeeze. My fingers felt like lead weights. "This is incredible," she muttered, more to herself than to me. "I'm Daria. You're at Memorial Hospital. You've been in a coma for 3 months." 3 months. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. Memories started flooding back. Screeching tires, shattering glass, the taste of blood. A TV mounted on the wall caught my attention. The volume was low, but I recognized the faces immediately. My mother, Alana, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. My sister, Brianna, standing stoically beside her. "The hardest decision any mother could make," Mum was saying, her voice trembling perfectly. "But Willow wouldn't want to live like this. We have to let her go with dignity." "Let me go?" My heart monitor started beeping faster. "Oh, that's from last week," Daria said quickly, reaching for the remote. "Your family was discussing—" "Wait," I croaked. My first real word. Daria froze. The interview continued. Some morning show host with perfect hair was nodding sympathetically as my mother described how peaceful it would be, how ready they were to say goodbye. "The doctors say there's no hope," Brianna added, her face a mask of grief. "We're just prolonging the inevitable." I noticed something in the corner of my hospital room then, a small red light, a camera, live feed for monitoring critical patients. And suddenly, impossibly, that feed cut into the morning show broadcast. The split screen showed my mother still talking about letting me die peacefully, while on the other side, me, very much alive, very much aware. The host's eyes widened as she noticed the feed. My mother kept talking, unaware of what was happening. But viewers could see me now, staring directly into the camera. "Help," I whispered, my voice scratchy, but clear. "Help me." The host's hand flew to her mouth. In the studio, someone dropped something with a crash. My mother finally turned to look at the monitor behind her, and I watched the color drain from her face. "Oh my God," the host breathed. "She's awake. She's conscious right now." Brianna grabbed Mom's arm so hard I could see her knuckles turn white. The studio erupted in chaos. Daria was already on the phone. "Get Dr. Matthews in here now. Yes, right now. She's fully conscious and aware." Within minutes, my room was swarming with medical staff. Questions, tests, lights in my eyes. But I couldn't stop watching the TV, where the morning show had devolved into frenzied speculation. Social media alerts were already scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Willow Lives was trending. "Willow," Dr. Matthews said, trying to get my attention. "Can you tell me what year it is?" I could tell him everything. But something made me hesitate. The look on my mother's face when she saw me awake. It wasn't relief. It wasn't joy. It was fear. I swallowed hard. "Everything's fuzzy." The doctor nodded sympathetically. "That's completely normal after a trauma like yours. Don't worry, your memory should return gradually." But my memory was already there, crystal clear, including the fact that my own mother and sister had just been on national television, trying to convince the world to let me die. "Rest," Daria said softly, adjusting my pillows. As she leaned close, she whispered, "Don't trust anyone. Not yet." I closed my eyes, pretending to drift off. But my mind was racing. They wanted me dead. The question was why. The heart monitor kept beeping, steady and strong. Each beat seemed to whisper, "You're alive, you're alive, you're alive." And I intended to stay that way. The next 24 hours turned into a media circus. Every news channel replayed my awakening on loop. Reporters camped outside the hospital. My phone, which someone had placed on my bedside table, buzzed constantly with notifications until Daria mercifully turned it off. "Your mother's been calling the nurses' station," Daria said, checking my vitals. "She's demanding to see you." "Tell her I'm not ready," I said. "Tell her I'm confused, disoriented." Daria gave me a knowing look. "You're sharper than you're letting on, aren't you?" Before I could answer, there was a knock at the door. A woman with dark curly hair and intense eyes stepped in, holding up a press badge. "I'm Nora from the Daily Chronicle," she said. "I know you're probably sick of reporters, but I think we need to talk." I started to wave her away, but something in her expression made me pause. "5 minutes," she said quietly. "Off the record." Daria glanced between us, then nodded. "I'll be right outside." Once we were alone, Nora pulled up a chair. "Something doesn't add up about your case," she said, keeping her voice low. "The timing of the DNR, the rush to withdraw care, the convenient timing of that live feed." "What do you mean?" "Your mother became quite the celebrity these past few months. Speaking engagements, talk shows, even a book deal in the works. All about making impossible choices and letting go with grace." Nora leaned forward. "But here's the thing. I checked the hospital records. Your condition was stable, improving even." My heart started pounding. "How did you get those records?" "I have my sources. The question is, why were they so eager to—" The door burst open. Brianna strode in, designer heels clicking on the linoleum floor. "Out!" she snapped at Nora. "No press." Nora stood slowly, sliding a business card onto my bed. "Think about what I said." After she left, Brianna turned to me. Her face was tight, controlled. "You almost died, Willow. We tried to do what any family would do." "By killing me?" "Don't be dramatic. You were brain dead. The doctors—" "I wasn't brain dead." My voice shook, and you know it. Something flickered across her face. Guilt? Fear? But it was gone in an instant. "You're confused. The trauma, the medications. Mum's worried sick about you." "I bet she is." Brianna's phone chimed. She glanced at it, then back at me. "The Today Show wants an exclusive. The whole family, reunited. It would be good for everyone." "Good for who exactly?" "Don't be difficult, Willow. Mum's coming later. Try to be cooperative." After she left, Daria slipped back in. She was carrying a small package. "This came for you earlier. I didn't want to give it to you while your sister was here." Inside was a USB drive labeled Recordings and a note. "Watch these alone. N. I can bring you a laptop," Daria offered. "One that's not connected to the hospital network." I nodded, my hands trembling. "Daria, why are you helping me?" She was quiet for a moment. "Because I was here that night. When they tried to—" She swallowed hard. "It wasn't right. What they wanted to do wasn't right." A new text lit up my phone. "Darling, Mummy's coming to see you soon. Let's put this unfortunate misunderstanding behind us." "Mom." Unfortunate misunderstanding. Like she'd accidentally ordered the wrong appetizer, not tried to end my life. "Daria," I said, "if anyone asks, I'm still having trouble with my memory, especially about the weeks before the accident." "Of course." She paused at the door. "Just be careful. Your mother's been making some interesting calls to hospital administration. About your mental competency. I clutched the USB drive tighter. Whatever was on these recordings, I needed to see them before Mum arrived, before she could spin more lies, rewrite more history. One more thing, Daria said. That journalist, Nora, she's been investigating your case for weeks, long before you woke up. Maybe you should hear what she has to say. I stared at Nora's business card, then at the USB drive. Somewhere in this hospital, my mother was probably rehearsing her next performance, the overjoyed parent, the devoted caregiver. But I'd seen her real face on that morning show. I knew the truth. They'd tried to bury me. Now I needed to know why. Bring me that laptop, I said. And Daria, if my mother shows up while I'm watching these, I'm not feeling well. I need to rest. She nodded, understanding perfectly. I'll keep her away as long as I can. The USB drive felt heavy in my hand, like it contained more than just files. It held answers, and probably more questions. But I was done playing dead. The recording started playing, and my mother's voice filled the borrowed laptop's speakers. We can't keep paying for this, she was saying. The insurance is maxed out. What about her apartment? Brianna's voice. We could sell it, use the money for care. She's not using it anyway. Mum's laugh was brittle. Besides, the trust fund. A knock interrupted my viewing. I quickly closed the laptop as Nora slipped in. Did you watch them? She asked, settling into the chair beside my bed. Just started. Where did you get these? Hospital security cameras have audio. A sympathetic tech saved these clips before they were accidentally deleted. Nora pulled out a notebook. But that's not all. Look at this. She showed me a document, a DNR form with my signature, except it wasn't my signature. Someone forged this, I said, studying the loops and curves. Badly. Your mother submitted it 3 weeks ago, right after she signed her book deal. Nora's eyes narrowed. Tell me about your childhood. The question caught me off guard. Memories flooded back. Mom orchestrating perfect family photos while pinching my arm to make me smile. Brianna winning every award, every competition, while I was told to try harder. Picture perfect on the outside, I said. But underneath. Show me, Nora said, pulling out her phone. Your mother's been sharing old photos, building her grieving mother narrative. Let's see the real story. I opened my phone's gallery, scrolling back years. Here, my high school graduation. The photo showed Mom beaming at Brianna, who wasn't even graduating. I was barely visible at the edge of the frame. And this one? Nora pointed to another picture. My 25th birthday, Mom threw this huge party, invited all her friends, made a speech about how proud she was of both her daughters. I zoomed in on Mom's face. An hour earlier, she told me I was wasting my life in publishing, that I should have gone to law school like Brianna. A nurse appeared with my physical therapy schedule, interrupting us. As she helped me sit up, pain shot through my muscles. Take it slow, she advised. You've been immobile for months. I can't take it slow, I muttered. I need to be stronger. Why? Nora asked after the nurse left. What are you planning? Nothing yet, but I need to understand why they did this. All of it. Nora hesitated. I might know someone who can help. A private investigator named Caden. He specializes in financial fraud. You think this is about money? Your mother's new lifestyle isn't cheap. Designer clothes, first-class flights to speaking engagements. Someone's funding it. My phone buzzed. Another text from Mum. Darling, why won't you see me? The doctors say you're doing so well. Because I'm not ready to kill you back yet, I whispered to the screen. What? Nothing. I looked at Nora. Call your investigator. But first, help me with something else. I grabbed the laptop, playing the rest of the recordings. Mom and Brianna discussing my quality of life, arguing about medical costs, planning their media strategy. Then I heard something that made my blood run cold. The trust fund transfers to us if she's declared incompetent, Brianna was saying, or if she dies unmarried before 35. Well, Mum replied, she's not getting married in a coma, is she? Nora was already taking notes. Your grandfather's trust? He left it to me when I was 18. They never forgave him for that. My hands were shaking. They're not just trying to kill me. They're trying to steal everything I have. We can use this, Nora said, but carefully. Your mother's smart, connected. We need more evidence. A commotion in the hallway made us both freeze. I recognized Mom's voice, getting closer. Quick, I hissed. Help me look weak. By the time Mom burst in, I was slumped against the pillows, eyes half closed. Nora was interviewing me about my recovery. Oh, baby! Mom rushed to my side, all cameras and concern. Why didn't you tell me you were giving interviews? She's still very confused, Nora said smoothly. We were just discussing her physical therapy goals. Well, that's enough for today. Mom's smile was steel. My daughter needs rest. After they left, I pulled out my phone and texted Nora. Tell Caden to follow the money, all of it. Then I started my physical therapy exercises again, pushing harder this time. Every stretch, every movement brought pain. Good. Pain meant I was getting stronger, and I needed to be strong for what came next. Because karma was coming. Not with a bang, but with careful, quiet precision. And it would be wearing my face. The physical therapist had just left when a man appeared in my doorway. Silver hair, familiar eyes. My heart stopped. Dad? Keith stepped into the room, looking older than I remembered. Hey, kiddo. 15 years melted away. I was 13 again, watching him drive away after Mom won custody. She told everyone he abandoned us, told me he didn't fight for me. I saw you on the news, he said, hovering uncertainly. I should have come sooner. Why didn't you? He sat heavily in the visitor's chair. Your mother. She had restraining orders, custody agreements. By the time you were 18, you believed all her lies about me. Tell me the truth, I said, about the divorce, about her. She manipulated witnesses, forged documents. Sound familiar? His laugh was bitter. The judge finally saw through it, but by then, the damage was done. You hated me. I don't hate you now. A noise at the door made us both turn. Gage, my ex-boyfriend, stood there with flowers. My stomach churned. Willow, he said, you look alive. Unlike how my family predicted? The words came out sharp. Keith stood. I'll give you 2 a minute. Once we were alone, Gage shifted uncomfortably. I wanted to see you sooner, but Brianna said... Brianna? I sat up straighter. What about Brianna? She, reached out. A few months ago. Said you weren't doing well. That I should prepare myself. The pieces clicked. She contacted my ex-boyfriend to confirm I'd die single before 35. What? Nothing. I forced a smile. Thanks for the flowers. You can go now. Willow, wait. I know I wasn't there when... When what? When I needed you. When my family tried to kill me. My voice rose. Get out, Gage, and tell my sister her plan failed. After he left, Keith returned. Want to tell me what that was about? Just family business. I studied his face. Did Mom ever try to access my trust fund when I was younger? Constantly. Your grandfather knew what she was like. That's why he left it directly to you. He paused. Is that what this is about? The trust? My phone buzzed. A text from Nora. Caden found something. Brianna accessed your trust documents 2 days before your accident. Dad, I said slowly, how good are you at acting? Why? Because I need you to play nice with Mom. Just for a little while. He understood immediately. You're planning something. Justice, I said. Or revenge, maybe both. Count me in. His eyes hardened. It's time someone exposed her for what she is. Another text from Nora. Meeting tonight. Bring your father. We need to talk about the accident. I looked at Keith. How much do you know about car maintenance? Enough to know when brake lines have been tampered with. My breath caught. I think your accident wasn't an accident. He took my hand. And I think we can prove it. The door opened again. This time it was Daria, looking anxious. Your mother's coming. She's bringing a psychiatrist. For what? To evaluate your mental competency. Daria handed me a paper. She's filed for emergency conservatorship. I almost laughed. Of course she had. I was off script, awake when I should be dead. Time to improvise. Dad, how's your poker face? Better than your mother's conscience. Good. I quickly texted Nora. Change of plans, meeting here, bring Caden, and cameras. To Daria I said, when they come in, I want to appear confused, vulnerable. But you're neither, she said. No, I smiled. I'm just better at faking it than they are. Keith squeezed my hand. I've got 15 years of rage to channel. Channel it quietly, I said. Let them think they're winning. For now. We heard Mom's voice in the hallway, bright and brittle. Showtime. Dad, I whispered. Pretend you just got here. Make a scene. Give Nora time to set up. He winked, then stood as Mom entered with a distinguished-looking doctor. You! Mom gasped. How dare you? How dare I visit my daughter? Keith's voice boomed. The daughter you tried to kill? The psychiatrist looked startled. Mrs. Sutton, you didn't mention— He's not supposed to be here, Mom said quickly. There are orders. Expired orders, Keith corrected. And I have questions about brake lines. Mom's face went white. Behind her, I saw Nora slip in with a small camera. The game was changing. And for once, I wasn't the only player. I'm taking her home, Mom announced a week later, wheeling me out of the hospital. Where she belongs. I caught Daria's eye as we passed the nurse's station. She gave me a subtle nod. The cameras were in place. Every room in Mum's house was now wired for sound and video, courtesy of Caden's late-night visit. Your room is all ready, Mum chirped, helping me into her Mercedes. Just like you never left. Just like I never almost died, I thought. But I smiled weakly, playing the dutiful daughter. The house looked exactly the same, a perfect showcase home, straight out of a magazine. Family photos lined the walls, carefully curated to show our supposed happiness. I noticed there were new ones now, from Mum's grieving mother tour. Brianna's coming for dinner, Mom said, settling me on the living room couch. We should film it for social media, show everyone how well you're recovering. Whatever you think is best, Mom. She paused, studying my face. You seem different. Nearly dying changes people. My phone buzzed. Nora. Caden found the money trail. Trust fund documents were accessed from Brianna's work computer multiple times. Ready when you are. Mom. I made my voice small, vulnerable. Could you make that tea I liked when I was little? Her face softened. Of course, darling. The moment she left the room, I pulled out my laptop and connected to the house's new hidden camera network. In the kitchen, Mom was already on her phone. She's acting strange, she whispered to someone. Too compliant. No, I don't think she remembers. Yes, the conservatorship hearing is next week. The front door opened. Brianna walked in, designer briefcase in hand. Is she here? Living room, Mom called. Be careful what you say. I quickly closed the laptop as they entered, carrying tea and forced smiles. Look who's home, Brianna said, her voice syrupy sweet. One big happy family. One big happy family, I echoed, accepting the tea. Just like old times. Mom's phone chimed. Her face lit up. The Today Show wants us tomorrow morning. All three of us. Live from here. The miraculous reunion. Perfect, I said. We can show everyone how close we are. Brianna's eyes narrowed slightly. She always was better at reading me than Mom. I'm not sure Willow's strong enough, she said carefully. Oh, but I am. I set down my tea. In fact, I've been documenting my recovery. Would you like to see? I opened my laptop again, turning it toward them. The screen showed Mom in the hospital corridor, talking to the psychiatrist. She's delusional, dangerous. We need that conservatorship. Mom lunged for the laptop. I let her take it. Where did you get this? She demanded. The same place I got the brake line inspection report, I said calmly. And the trust fund access logs. And the forged DNR form. Brianna's face went pale. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? I pulled out my phone, playing another recording. Brianna discussing my accident with someone. Dates and times mentioned explicitly. You're not the only one who knows how to manipulate media, Mom. I smiled. I learned from the best. Whatever you think you're doing, Mom started. The Today Show interview sounds perfect, I interrupted. Live TV worked so well last time, didn't it? Mom's hands were shaking. You ungrateful. Careful, I warned. The house is already recording. Has been since I arrived. Brianna grabbed Mom's arm. She's bluffing. Want to test that theory? Tomorrow, live on national television? They stared at me. These women who'd raised me, who'd tried to erase me. I saw the moment they realized I wasn't their victim anymore. What do you want? Mom finally asked. Want? I want to play happy families. I want to smile for the cameras. I want to be the miracle daughter you both prayed would wake up. My voice hardened. And you're going to play along. Because if you don't, everything goes public. Every recording, every document, every lie. You wouldn't, Brianna whispered. Try me. My phone buzzed again. Nora. Everything's ready for tomorrow. You sure about this? I typed back. Absolutely. Fine, Mom said tightly. We'll do it your way. No, Mom. I stood up, stronger than they expected. For once, we're doing it the right way. The truth always comes out. You taught me that. I headed for the stairs, then turned back. Oh, and Mom, I take my tea with honey now, not arsenic. The cup she'd given me sat untouched on the table between us. Some lessons you only need to learn once. The Today Show host beamed at us through the camera. And here they are, the Sutton women, together again. What an inspiring story of family, faith, and survival. Mom squeezed my hand, her nails digging into my palm. We're just so blessed, she said, her voice trembling perfectly. Blessed, I agreed, squeezing back harder. Would you like to hear exactly how blessed? Brianna shot me a warning look, but I was already pulling out my phone. I've been recording my recovery journey, I said sweetly, including some interesting old footage. May I? Before anyone could object, I connected my phone to the studio feed. The screen behind us flickered to life. This is from 3 months ago, I explained, as Mom's voice filled the studio. The trust fund transfers if she dies unmarried. Mom lunged for my phone, but it was too late. The host's eyes widened as the recordings played. Conversations about brake lines, forged documents, the DNR form. What is this? The host asked, her professional smile slipping. This is the truth, I said. About how my family tried to kill me for money. We did no such, Brianna started. Really? I pulled up another file. This is from your work computer. Accessing my trust fund documents 2 days before my accident. Interesting timing. Mom swayed in her seat. I feel faint. Don't worry, Mother. Unlike my hospital room, there's no kill switch here. The host was frantically signaling her producers, but I wasn't done. "And this," I continued, playing another clip, "is from last night. Planning my conservatorship hearing, planning to declare me incompetent." "Cut the feed," Mom hissed. "Cut it now." "Can't," I said. "We're live, remember? Just like when I woke up. Just like when you couldn't hide me anymore." Brianna stood abruptly. "This interview is over. Sit down," I ordered, "or the next clip will be about the brake lines." She sat. The host had found her voice. "Are you saying your own family tried to murder me?" "Yes, for a trust fund that would only transfer if I died unmarried before 35. I smiled at the camera. "But that's not even the best part." I nodded to someone off camera. Nora stepped forward, holding a thick file. "This is my new podcast," I announced, called Alive Out of Spite. First episode drops tonight. Full documentation, witness statements, medical records, everything. Mum fainted then. A perfect, practiced fall. But no one moved to help her. "Security," Brianna called weakly. "Oh, they're here," I said. "Along with some police detectives. Fraud division, I believe." 2 officers stepped into frame. "Alana and Brianna, we have some questions about certain financial documents." The host was practically vibrating with excitement. This was ratings gold. "One more thing," I said, standing. "To everyone who supported my mother's brave decision to end my life, who bought her books, attended her speeches, funded her campaign of lies." I looked directly into the camera. "You helped finance attempted murder. Sleep well." The studio erupted in chaos. Mom was still unconscious. Brianna was arguing with the detectives. The host was desperately trying to regain control. I walked off set, past the scrambling producers and shocked crew members. Dad was waiting in the wings. "You okay?" he asked softly. "Never better." My phone was already blowing up. The hashtag #Alive Out of Spite was trending. Clips from the interview were going viral. "Miss?" a young production assistant caught up to us. "Everyone's asking, will you be pressing charges?" I turned back to where Mom was miraculously recovering from her faint officers standing over her. "The truth is its own kind of justice," I said. "But yes, I will." Nora appeared with Caden. "The police have everything they need. Financial records, medical documents, those recordings. And the brake line evidence?" Caden nodded. "Mechanics ready to testify." I watched as Mom and Brianna were led away, still protesting their innocence, still trying to control the narrative. But the narrative wasn't theirs anymore. It was mine. My phone buzzed one last time, a notification from Spotify. Alive Out of Spite had jumped to #1 on the pre-save chart. "Ready to go home?" Dad asked. "Not to that house," I said. "Never again." "No," he agreed. "Somewhere new. Somewhere they can't find you." I looked at the chaos we'd left behind, the shattered remains of Mum's perfect family facade. The truth had done what their murder attempt couldn't. It had killed the old Willow, the obedient daughter, the silent victim, and I liked the new version much better. The courthouse buzzed with energy. My podcast had hit 10 million downloads, and the media circus followed us right into the legal system. Mum's emergency conservatorship hearing had turned into her own criminal trial. "All rise," the bailiff called. I stood, steadier now after months of physical therapy. Mom and Brianna sat at the defendant's table, their designer outfits replaced by muted business wear. Their lawyer looked nervous. "Your Honor," he began, "my clients maintain their innocence. They were acting in their daughter's best interests." "By forging medical documents?" The judge peered over her glasses. "By attempting to terminate life support against medical advice?" "We have evidence," the lawyer stammered. "So do we," Nora whispered beside me. She squeezed my hand as I approached the witness stand. "Please state your name," the prosecutor said. "Willow. Can you tell us about the days leading up to your accident?" I leaned into the microphone. I'd just finished my second novel. My career was taking off. Then Brianna started calling, wanting to reconnect. "Objection!" Mom's lawyer stood. "Relevance? Overruled. Continue." She invited me to dinner. The next day, my brakes failed on the highway. I looked directly at Brianna. Interesting timing. The prosecutor played the hospital recordings. Mom's face turned grey as her own voice filled the courtroom. "The trust fund transfers if she dies unmarried." "And this," the prosecutor continued, "is from the defendant's phone, 1 week before the accident." He played another recording. Mom discussing brake lines with someone, dates clearly mentioned. "Your Honor," Mom stood suddenly. "I need to say something." Her lawyer tried to stop her, but she pushed him away. "If certain facts come to light, I'm prepared to reveal everything about Willow's past. Things she doesn't want public." The judge frowned. "Are you threatening your daughter in my courtroom?" "No threats," I said calmly. "Just desperate lies. But please, Mum, tell everyone about my troubled past, about how I was unstable, about all the things you made up to control me." "I made up?" She laughed shrilly. "Tell them about the fire, Willow, about what really happened that night." "You mean the night you burned Dad's office and blamed me?" I pulled out my phone. Funny thing about old security cameras, sometimes the footage survives. Mom's face went white. "That's impossible. You destroyed the copies in Dad's office, not the cloud backup." I nodded to the prosecutor, who played the final video. The courtroom watched in silence as a younger mom methodically set the fire, then drove away, date stamp clearly visible. "That fire was why Dad lost custody," I said. "Why everyone believed I was troubled. But technology's funny that way. The truth always surfaces." "Order!" The judge banged her gavel as whispers filled the courtroom. "Mrs. Sutton, sit down." Brianna stood next. "Your Honor, I had no part in—" "Really?" I interrupted. "Should we play the trust fund recordings again? The ones from your office computer?" She sat back down. The judge shuffled some papers. "I've heard enough. This court finds clear evidence of conspiracy, attempted murder, fraud." Mom started crying, but her tears looked different now, less convincing, more desperate. "Additionally," the judge continued, "the conservatorship request is denied. Ms. Willow appears quite competent to manage her own affairs." I felt Dad's hand on my shoulder as the sentences were read. Mom, 15 years. Brianna, 8 years, with possibility of parole. As they were led away, Mom turned back. "Willow, I'm your mother." "No," I said quietly. "You're just the woman who gave birth to me and tried to bury me." Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. "Willow, what's next for you?" "Justice," I said simply. "Not just for me, but for everyone silenced by family abuse. My story isn't unique. It's just loud enough to finally be heard." Nora appeared with fresh news. "Your podcast just got picked up for a TV adaptation. They want to focus on exposing similar cases." "Perfect," I said. "Let's help other victims find their voice." Dad hugged me tight. "Your grandfather would be proud. He always said you were the strong one." "Speaking of strength," Caden interrupted, "there's someone who wants to talk to you." Daria stepped forward, still in her nurse's scrubs. "I just finished my shift. Wanted to say goodbye." "Goodbye?" She smiled. "I'm starting grad school, focusing on patient advocacy. Someone inspired me to fight harder for those who can't speak for themselves." I hugged her, remembering those first days in the hospital when she was my only ally. "The truth doesn't just set you free," I told the waiting reporters. "It gives others permission to speak their truth too." As we left the courthouse, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You think you've won?" Mom's last attempt at control. But this time, I didn't feel afraid. I typed back, "I know I have. Enjoy prison, Mom. I'll send you a copy of my next book." Then I blocked the number and walked into the sunlight, finally, completely free. The prison visiting room was cold and sterile. Mom sat across from me, orange jumpsuit replacing her designer clothes, her face bare of makeup. "Why are you here?" she asked. I placed a document on the table between us. "Signing over your rights to the house. Dad's buying it." "What?" "No, that's my—" "Your what?" "Your stage. Your perfect family showcase." I pushed the papers closer. "Sign." She picked up the pen, hands trembling. "You've taken everything from me." "No, Mom, I just took back what was mine. My life. My truth." As she signed, I pulled out another envelope. "This is for you. Advanced copy of my new book." The cover showed a hospital bed, a flat heart monitor, and the title, "Dead Daughter Walking, A Survivor's Story." "You wouldn't dare," she whispered. "Already did. It's hitting shelves next week." I stood up. "Goodbye, Mom." "Wait!" Her composure cracked. Will you visit again?" No. Outside, Dad was waiting in his truck. "All done?" "Almost." I pulled out my phone, opening my email. One more stop. We drove to the university hospital where everything had started. Daria met us in the lobby, practically bouncing with excitement. "They're all here," she said. "In the auditorium." I followed her through familiar corridors. The sound of voices grew louder as we approached the double doors. Inside, hundreds of nursing students sat waiting. A banner hung above the stage. "The Willow Foundation, advocating for patient rights." "Ready?" Daria whispered. I walked to the podium, facing the crowd. "My name is Willow, and I died once, or at least, someone tried very hard to make that happen." The room fell silent. Today, we're launching something new. A foundation to protect patients who can't protect themselves, to train advocates who will fight for those without voices. I gestured to Daria. Starting with full scholarships for nursing students specializing in patient advocacy, because sometimes all it takes is one person brave enough to say, "This isn't right." Daria stepped forward, tears in her eyes, as I handed her the foundation's first check, enough to fund her entire graduate program. "And that's just the beginning," I continued. "We're partnering with hospitals nationwide, creating oversight programs, building support networks." The applause was deafening. As students lined up to share their stories, their dreams, I felt something shift inside me. The last traces of that old pain transforming into purpose. My phone buzzed. A message from Brianna's prison email. "I'm sorry. I know it's too late, but I'm sorry." I showed it to Dad. "Think she means it? Does it matter?" No, I realized. It doesn't. Later that night, I stood in front of Mom's old house, my house now. The perfect facade seemed smaller somehow, less intimidating. "What are you going to do with it?" Dad asked. "Turn it into a halfway house, for people escaping family abuse." I smiled. Mom would hate that. Good. Inside, the family photos were already gone. In their place, I hung a single frame. The hospital security camera still of me waking up. The moment that changed everything. My phone buzzed again. "Nora, your story just inspired another family to come forward. They need help." "Send them my way," I texted back. Dad touched the frame gently. "You know, when you were little, your mom always said you were too sensitive, too emotional." She was wrong. She was. Those feelings made you strong, made you survive. I looked around the empty house, remembering all the perfect family dinners, the forced smiles, the quiet threats. Now it would shelter others running from the same kind of lies. You didn't just survive, Dad said. You turned it into something bigger. That's the best revenge, isn't it? Taking their weapons and turning them into shields for others. Outside, crickets chirped in the darkness. Somewhere in prison, Mom was probably reading my book, seeing herself through my eyes for the first time. Somewhere else, Brianna was maybe, finally, understanding what she'd done. But here, in this house that once trapped me, I was free. And soon, others would be too. Ready to go home? Dad asked. I took one last look around. I am home. Just a different kind than they planned. We walked out together, leaving the porch light on. Someone else might need to find their way here in the dark. Someone else might need to learn what I finally had. That sometimes the family you're born into tries to bury you, but the family you choose helps you rise. And rise I did. Not out of spite anymore, but out of hope. For everyone else still fighting to wake up.